Have you ever felt that inner voice trying to guide your steps, but out of fear, doubt, or haste, you ended up ignoring it? How many times have you realized that if you had trusted that silent whisper within you, you would have avoided mistakes, saved time, or even found golden opportunities? Yes, this voice is not the result of chance. It is the direct channel between you and the infinite abundance of the universe. It is the invisible compass that God, life, and your own essence placed within you so that you never get lost in the labyrinth of uncertainty. But the truth is that many are deaf to this voice, not because it doesn't speak, but because the external noise of rushing, worrying, and limiting beliefs drown out its frequency. The result is a life guided by fear, lack, and doubt. Today, I want to show you that there is a simple yet profoundly transformative way to reactivate this connection. You will learn how to listen and, more importantly, how to trust this inner voice that leads to wealth. Wealth not just material, but also emotional, spiritual, and relational. Wealth as fulfillment. Imagine for a moment that within you lies a locked safe, and within it lies the treasure map of your life. This safe is your intuition, and the key to opening it is trust. Throughout this video, I will lead you on a path of discovery where you will realize that the abundance you so desperately seek is not outside, but already dwells within you. You will understand how to distinguish the voice of fear from the voice of abundance, how to strengthen this listening, and how to take firm steps toward a life guided by the power of your soul. So, get ready, because what you are about to hear can completely change the way you view your choices, your prosperity, and even your relationship with God and the universe. And before we continue, take the opportunity to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with those you love, because this message will awaken in many people what has been dormant, the certainty that we are guided by a higher intelligence, always ready to lead us to wealth. The silence that reveals the direction. The first thing we need to understand is that the inner voice doesn't compete with the noise of the world. It doesn't shout, it doesn't insist, it doesn't invade. It whispers. It manifests itself in silence. And that's why so many people say they can't hear anything, because they're never quiet enough. Imagine a radio full of static. The signal is there, but the noise is so loud you can't distinguish the melody. This is how your intuition works. The universe, God, or whatever you prefer to call it, constantly sends signals and guidance. But if your mind is too occupied with worries, criticisms, comparisons, or distractions, you simply don't tune in. The first key, therefore, is to learn to create moments of silence. It doesn't have to be a complicated meditation. Just a few minutes a day to breathe deeply, quiet your thoughts, and allow yourself to listen. You'll notice that, in this empty space, unexpected ideas, subtle insights, and even sensations in your body begin to emerge that seem to point you in the right direction. This is the inner voice. But there's one detail. This voice always speaks with love, never with fear. If the thought that arises brings anxiety, haste, or anguish, it's not intuition, it's the ego in disguise. But if it brings peace, clarity, and even a lightness of heart, even if challenging, it's true guidance. From that point on, everything in your life begins to change, because you stop making decisions based on what others think, what society dictates, or what fear suggests. You begin to make decisions based on a greater wisdom that already knows the path. And do you know what happens? Money, opportunities, and the right people begin to appear naturally because you are aligned with the flow of abundance. This is the basis of the secret. Listen to trust, and trust to receive. The universe speaks through you. When you understand that your inner voice isn't just a product of your mind, but rather the language through which the universe communicates through you, everything begins to take on new meaning. That feeling of right or wrong, that hunch that seems to anticipate the future, aren't coincidences. They're direct answers, signs that abundance is already trying to reach you. The problem is that in general, people have been taught to doubt this voice. Since childhood, we've heard phrases like, "That's nonsense, be rational, follow what everyone else does." As a result, we've grown to believe that only cold logic has value and that intuition is a fantasy. But the great men and women who transformed the world learned just the opposite. They trusted this invisible force. Think of inventors, entrepreneurs, spiritual leaders. All of them at some point have declared that something greater inspired them, that an idea simply appeared like a ray of light in the middle of the night, that a risky decision was made without concrete evidence, but guided by an inner certainty. This is the voice that leads to wealth. When you learn to trust it, you begin to live more fluidly, because you realize you're not alone, never have been and never will be. You begin to see that everything in life has perfect timing, and that if something hasn't happened yet, it's because something greater is being prepared. This trust opens the doors to patience and courage, patiently waiting for the right moment, courageous to act when the call comes. And here's a crucial point. The inner voice doesn't just speak, it also tests your faith. Often it will ask you to take a step that seems illogical, but which, deep down, brings peace to your heart. And it's precisely at that moment that you need to choose. Listen to fear or listen to abundance. When you choose abundance, the universe rearranges everything in your favor. It's as if invisible doors open, people you never imagined appear in your path, and unexpected situations bring exactly what you need to thrive. In this process, you discover that you don't need to control everything. You just need to align yourself with this voice, trust it, and act with faith. This is where wealth begins to manifest, because you are not just chasing money, but you are moving in the right direction to find it in the natural flow of life. Distinguishing the voice of fear from the voice of wealth. One of the biggest confusions people face is differentiating their true inner voice from the voice of fear. Fear speaks loudly, quickly, urgently, almost as if it were screaming inside your mind. It constantly presents scenarios of loss, failure, and shame. It's the voice that says, "Don't risk it, you'll regret it. This isn't for you. You don't have what it takes." The inner voice, the voice of wealth, is calm, peaceful, and persistent. It doesn't impose itself, but repeats itself gently until you notice. It may even challenge you to step out of your comfort zone, but it never brings despair. On the contrary, it brings a strange relief, as if to say, "It's okay, you can trust me, I'm with you." The secret to differentiating one from the other is to observe how you feel. Fear tightens the chest, contracts the stomach, makes your breath shallow. Intuition expands, relaxes, and opens space in the heart. Even if the decision seems risky, there is a silent peace in following it. It's as if a higher power is saying, "This is the way." And when you obey, miracles begin to happen. Think about how many times you've ignored that voice and then said to yourself, "I knew this would go wrong." This phrase isn't a coincidence. It's proof that your soul had already warned you. The problem is that by not trusting, you've placed more value on your analytical mind than on your inner wisdom. The good news is that it's never too late to change this. With every choice, you have the opportunity to reconnect. Simply ask yourself, is this decision born of fear or of trust? If it's born of fear, wait, breathe, and ask for clarity. If it's born of trust, move forward, even if it seems unlikely. Life will reward your courage. The power of trust. Listening to your inner voice is only the first step, but trusting it is what truly unlocks the flow of abundance. Many people can perceive the signs, but they get stuck when it comes to taking action. It's as if the heart says go, but the mind keeps searching for concrete proof that never comes. Intuition doesn't bring all the answers immediately. It shows you the first step, and only when you step on it does the next one appear. Trusting this dynamic is what differentiates those who live stagnant lives from those who live in motion toward wealth. Trust creates an energy that attracts opportunities. When you take a step, even without full guarantees, the universe recognizes your faith and sends confirmation. It's as if saying, "You trusted, so now I'm proving you were right." This trust can be trained. Start with small gestures. If you feel the urge to call someone, call. If you feel the need to write down an idea, write it. If an intuition arises to take a different route in traffic, follow it. Little by little, you realize that these small acts open unexpected doors. You discover valuable contacts, profitable ideas, time-saving shortcuts. And it's at this point that confidence becomes certainty. The inner voice is never wrong. What's wrong is the fear that insists on controlling everything. It's at this point that I want to ask you a question. Have you ever experienced something similar? Have you ever felt that a decision, guided by your heart, even without a logical explanation, led you to a wonderful result? Write in the comments, because sharing this will further strengthen your faith and also inspire others who are listening to this message. Remember, confidence is the bridge between intuition and fulfillment. Without it, the inner voice is just an echo. With it, it becomes the map that leads to your wealth. Sign language. The universe doesn't just speak within you, it also speaks around you. The inner voice manifests itself in coincidences, synchronicities, and small signs that seem trivial but carry powerful messages. How many times have you thought of someone and they appeared? How many times have you heard the same phrase in different places on the same day? How many times has a book fallen into your hands at the exact moment you needed that answer? None of this is coincidence. They are codes from the universe confirming what your intuition was already trying to tell you. The mistake many make is to ignore these signs, calling them coincidence. But the word coincidence comes from coincidence, meaning happening together. When you start to observe closely, you realize that nothing happens in isolation. Life is always communicating with you. The problem is that if your mind is racing, you don't see it. Therefore, in addition to internal silence, you need external presence. Being attentive to what's happening around you is like expanding the antenna of your intuition. The signs will repeat themselves until you notice, and the faster you recognize and act on them, the faster abundance manifests. It's as if the universe is saying, "Now you're ready, now I can trust you." Many fortunes, happy relationships, and great achievements have begun with a simple sign followed by action. What seems small today could be the gateway to the greatest transformation in your life tomorrow. So don't ignore anything. The universe speaks constantly. You just need to become a good listener. Affirmations that awaken the inner voice. There comes a time when simply listening and trusting aren't enough. You need to strengthen this connection. And the best way to do this is through daily practices that program your mind and heart to tune into the frequency of abundance. Among these practices, two are fundamental: affirmations and visualizations. When you repeat a powerful affirmation, you're not just saying words. You're shaping your energy and training your consciousness to accept a new pattern of living. So repeat with me now, silently or out loud. I trust my intuition. I am guided by an inner voice that always leads me on the path to wealth. I am worthy of abundance, and I open myself to receive it every day. Notice how these words create a warmth in your chest, as if something is activated within you. This is the power of affirmation. It reinforces your faith and silences fear. But we can go further. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine a golden light descending from above and enveloping your entire body. This light is the divine energy that awakens your inner voice. Within it, you feel protected, guided, and confident. Now visualize a road ahead of you, illuminated by this same light, and see yourself walking with firm steps. With each step, you feel yourself getting closer to abundance, closer to the right opportunities, closer to the purpose that was written for you from the beginning. Take a deep breath and feel the certainty that this voice never fails. It is the universe itself saying, "I am here, I guide you, I lead you." When you practice this every day, you create a new reality. You stop getting lost in doubt and start living with direction. And it is precisely this direction that opens the doors to true wealth. The habit that attracts prosperity. The inner voice isn't an isolated event that appears occasionally. It's a constant guide, but it needs to be cultivated. It's like a friendship. The more you dedicate time and attention to it, the stronger the bond becomes. If you only listen occasionally in moments of despair, the connection weakens. But if you set aside a few minutes every day to listen, trust, and act, the voice becomes clear, crisp, and impossible to ignore. This is the secret of those who thrive. Turning inner listening into a daily habit. Create simple rituals. When you wake up, before checking your phone or thinking about problems, take a deep breath and silently ask, "What is the best direction for me today?" Keep the first answer that comes to mind. Throughout the day, mentally repeat, "I am guided, I trust, I follow the voice of abundance." And before going to sleep, give thanks for the intuitions you receive, even if you don't fully understand them yet. This daily cycle of questioning, trusting, and gratitude creates a magnetic field of prosperity around you. People begin to notice that you look different, more confident, more secure, more enlightened. And this energy attracts even more opportunities. Abundance doesn't come just through physical effort, it comes through attunement. Those who are aligned with their inner voice always seem to be in the right place, at the right time, with the right people. This isn't luck, it's habit. And the most powerful habit you can create is to trust this guide within you daily. The more you practice, the more natural it becomes, to the point where you can no longer imagine living any other way. This is the moment when wealth ceases to be a distant desire and becomes an inevitable consequence of your vibration. When the inner voice redirects your steps, you may often feel like you've failed, taken a wrong path, or missed opportunities. But when you learn to listen to your inner voice, you discover that even apparent mistakes are part of a greater plan. Intuition doesn't just prevent falls, it also shows you how to get back up faster and more wisely. How many stories have you heard of people who were fired from a job and, shortly after, found the true opportunity of a lifetime? How many people saw relationships end and believed it was the end, only to meet someone who truly completed them? What seemed like defeat was actually a redirection. The inner voice often closes doors you wouldn't have the courage to close on your own. And if you trust it, you'll realize that each closing hides a greater beginning. This is the beauty of abundance. Nothing is loss, everything is transformation. But to see this, you must let go of control. The human mind wants to understand every detail, wants immediate proof, wants quick results. Intuition, however, demands surrender. It asks you to trust the process, even when you don't understand. And it's precisely when you relax and accept this flow that miracles begin to unfold. You look back and realize that everything fell into place. People who left your life, places you left behind, dreams that didn't come true. Everything had a purpose, to align you with the right path, the path of wealth and true purpose. So when something doesn't go as planned, don't despair. Ask, what is my inner voice trying to show me? And then breathe, trust, and allow the new path to unfold. It always leads to something greater. The inner voice as an expression of faith. There comes a point where intuition ceases to be merely a practical guide and reveals itself as a profound spiritual experience. The inner voice isn't just yours. It's the divine spark speaking within you. When you understand this, you begin to see that trusting this voice is the same as trusting God, the universe, and life. It's an act of faith, and faith is the true fuel of wealth. We're not talking about believing only when everything is going well, but about maintaining certainty even when the external scenario seems confusing. It's at this moment that the inner voice becomes most valuable because it doesn't depend on circumstances. It speaks from within, reminding you that you are a child of abundance and have the right to live a full life. When you pray, meditate, or simply retreat into silence, this voice becomes even clearer. Often it comes as a verse, an inspiring phrase, an unexpected memory. Other times it's simply a peace so great that it seems to embrace your entire being. This is confirmation that you are not alone. It's as if the universe is repeating, trust, because I have already mapped out the path. And the more you lean on this faith, the faster abundance manifests. Because wealth isn't born solely from external work, it's born from internal conviction. Those who truly believe already live as if they've received it. And this state of certainty creates an irresistible vibration that attracts results. Therefore, the inner voice is more than intuition. It's a link to the divine. And by trusting it, you enrich not only your bank account, but also your soul, your peace, and your purpose. Gratitude that amplifies the inner voice. There's a secret that multiplies the power of your intuition and accelerates the flow of wealth: gratitude. When you give thanks, you open the space to hear more clearly and trust more deeply. Gratitude changes the frequency of your mind and heart, tuning them to your inner voice. It's like adjusting a radio antenna. The more grateful you become, the clearer and clearer the transmission becomes. Giving thanks not only for what has already happened, but for what is yet to come, is a powerful way to align yourself with abundance. When you say, "Thank you, universe, for all the opportunities already on their way," you are affirming trust before you even see the results. And this trust opens the doors to manifestation. Gratitude also transforms your perception. What once seemed small becomes valued. What once seemed like a problem becomes a lesson. And when you see the value in everything, your inner voice speaks even louder, because you are in tune with the energy of abundance. The practice can be simple. Upon waking, name 3 things for which you are grateful. Throughout the day, mentally thank each sign or intuition you receive, and before bed say, "Thank you, because my inner voice guided me wisely today." This consistent practice creates a powerful current that not only strengthens your faith, but also attracts ever more reasons to be grateful. The universe responds to gratitude with greater abundance because it understands that you are prepared to receive. Gratitude is the bridge between your inner voice and the materialization of wealth. Immediate action, the secret of right timing. Listening, trusting, and giving thanks are fundamental steps, but there's a decisive factor that transforms everything: action. The inner voice doesn't tell you to ignore it. It tells you to obey it. Many people even feel the call, but miss the moment because they're waiting for more signs, more confirmation, more certainty. The result is that the opportunity passes by and life feels stagnant again. Intuition is like a breath of air. It arrives at just the right moment, bringing the perfect opportunity. If you don't act, it dissipates. But if you take the first step, however small, something extraordinary happens. It's as if invisible doors open before you, revealing paths that were previously hidden. This quickness to act is one of the greatest secrets of prosperity. Think about how many brilliant ideas you've had and put off. How many times have you felt the urge to call someone, write a project, sign up for something, and didn't do it? Perhaps that was the answer you've been searching for. The inner voice always points to the now, because the present is the only time when abundance can manifest. Don't wait for the perfect moment, because the perfect moment is the one your intuition speaks to. Immediate action is faith in motion. When you act, you show the universe that you trust. And when the universe sees your confidence, it multiplies the results. Thus, each step becomes a magnet for new opportunities. Remember, your inner voice is a compass, but it's up to you to walk. Without movement, there is no destination. With action, wealth becomes inevitable. We've reached the end of this journey, but the truth is, this isn't the end. It's just the beginning, because the inner voice won't be silenced when this video ends. It will continue whispering within you, asking for attention, inviting trust, and opening paths to your prosperity. Now you know that abundance isn't distant, it's not outside. It doesn't depend solely on physical effort. It arises within you, from your ability to listen, trust, be grateful, and act. The inner voice is your greatest asset because it connects you to the infinite wisdom of God and the universe. If you learn to follow it, you'll never be lost again, never again be a slave to fear, never again believe you're unworthy of wealth. Because you already are worthy. You already carry the map of abundance within you. You just need to trust it. I invite you to reflect. Imagine your life a few months from now, if every day you listened to this voice, trusted it, and took action. Where would you be? Who would be by your side? How much wealth, peace, and purpose would have already manifested? The answer is in your hands, or rather in your heart. So don't ignore this call. Live by this voice, and watch the entire universe align to confirm that you made the right choice. If this message resonated with you, like this video, share it with someone who needs to awaken to their inner voice, and subscribe to the channel to continue receiving life-changing content. And write in the comments, are you willing to trust your inner voice from today on? Your answer could be the first step toward a revolution in your life. Always remember, true wealth doesn't begin in the wallet, it begins in the soul. And those who learn to listen to and trust their inner voice discover that nothing is impossible because everything is already within them.